Want to find out what's going on in your community? El Observador is San Jose's bilingual weekly newspaper. Go to your local newsstand and pick up your free copy today. Looking for the skills and training you need to get a new career? Call CTC, the Center for Training and Careers, and start working towards that new career today. Call CTC in San Jose.
Good evening. I'm Cihuapilli Rose Amador, and this is Native Voice TV. Welcome to the show. This evening we have with us one of my favorite guests on Native Voice TV. He's an actor, he is a singer, he's a fancy dancer, he's an educator, you're a teacher, grade school teacher I believe, right?
All of the above. All
of the above. And a hoop dancer, and just a very all-around talented person. Welcome, Eddie.
Thank you for having me.
And I know you're embarking on a different endeavor, so you just want to keep adding to that resume, huh?
For some reason, somebody asked me to do something, and as my elders, I just say yes.
Oh, well, then let me make a list of the to-do. So what are you doing now?
Well, I had the opportunity to work in conjunction with a friend of mine by the name of Kathy Douglas, who's pretty nationally recognized in the nursing industry. She's an author, a filmmaker. She's done a lot of different things nationwide. And she and I had the opportunity to go to a nursing conference, a national nursing conference, and introduce a presentation to the nurses where they kind of get an idea or a sense of Native healing and them healing themselves. So we introduced a little bit more of a Native perspective, not necessarily for us to teach them how to do that, but rather for them to embrace maybe a perspective, something that they can go ahead and take for themselves, something that they may recognize that's holistic in their own community. So we brought the circle and introduced to them a circle and what it really meant to them just as a circle, and then we showed them through the hoop dance what it can be and the healing in that process of being able to build with something, and in changing your perspective you may be able to change and heal yourself.
So let's tell our audience, you don't normally dress like this on a daily basis, right?
Not anymore.
Okay, good. No, actually you look wonderful. You blend great with our blankets here. But you're dressed because you're going to do a hoop dance. Tell us what a hoop dance is.
Hoop dance, there's many different stories of where the hoop dance comes from. There's some stories that come from the Northern Plains where a man was dying and he prayed to the Creator and asked for the Creator to give him something so that he can leave with his people. So the Creator gave him a wooden hoop and said, for every living thing you create with this hoop, we'll give you another hoop. So he was able to create things with that one hoop, and he went on to a second hoop and a third, and he was able to create a lot of living things, and that's how he was able to give the hoop dance to his people. There's another story from the Southwest that is believed where the hoop dance was given to the children to build dexterity, hand-eye coordination. There's some homes in the Southwest that are built into the cliffs, the cliff-dwelling Indians. And when you're being chased by enemy or by animal, you had to climb that cliff up to your home to safety. And the children were given hoops, created these hoops, and they were the size that was appropriate for them. So if you made a circle with your arms like that, that would be your size hoop. So this hoop was given to the children, and as they were able to work with this hoop, they were given more hoops to create, again, living things here on earth. So it's believed that the hoop dance tells a story of creation, how all living things on earth were created. And they're all made from circles, which is what science tells us today. And the traditional way for some elders that have taught me about the hoop dance as I've grown throughout the years is that we pick the hoop up off the ground with our feet because our hands did not create all the beauty here on earth. So we pick the hoops up one at a time off the ground and go on, going with one hoop to two, and we go on. And the traditional way that I was taught by some people from different tribes is that using the least amount of hoops to create as much beauty as possible is really a true magic. So a lot of traditional hoop dancers will dance with 5 hoops. Although as times change and people change, there's dancers today that will tell the same beautiful story with over 20 hoops, over 30 hoops.
Wow. How many do you dance with?
8.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you will see Eddie dance with the hoops at the end of the show, so you have to stay tuned. We're going to keep you hanging. So now you actually, and by the way, your regalia is beautiful.
Thank you.
And it would be nice if you wore it every day because it'd be very colorful.
Well, this is actually pretty special because I took this out of the closet. I actually had this 20 years ago.
Really?
And I haven't worn it for 20 years, and
beautiful.
we thought we'd bring it out of returement and kind of put it on for...
We're honored to have you wear it for us. So now you actually did the hoop dance to introduce the native healing at the conference. Tell me about what you actually presented there.
Well, the very first day of the conference, and again it was a national conference, so there were 6,000 nurses there. They had me open up the whole conference with all the nurses in this room with the hoop dance, and we didn't really explain what it was. It was just a way for the dance to, from me to them, being asked to be there. It was really kind of a blessing, in thanks, and also to give them a blessing of the dance. And then the next day we gave the presentation. I dressed in street clothes, and we, showed them the hoop and asked them, what they can make of it. And they of course came up with many ideas, I'm sure. But we kind of introduced what the hoop means to American Indian people. So that circle of life, there's no beginning and no end. There's birth and there's death, and then there's birth again. There's winter where a lot of plants die, and then there's spring where they're born again. The seasons go in a circle. The day goes in a circle. Our lives go in a circle. The greatest strength of wind is in a circle. The greatest strength of water is in a circle. The birds build their homes in circles. The animals build their burrows in circles. So that circle means so much, and it's not just the circle of life, but it's also the kind of a circle of balance. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. They teach us in science. But as Native people, we always understood that there's morning and there's evening, there's up, there's down, there's
duality.
There's duality, and we once again getting into academics, we're taught the idea of reciprocation. When you give something, you kind of get something back. Not always something that's tangible or physical, or something that has monetary value, but sometimes it's just the experience. It's been said that wisdom isn't something that you can go out and learn. It's really you experiencing, life every single day. And if you take each day as a blessing, then you're going to have many blessings. And it was also said that when you go into the next life, you don't take anything with you except for what you've given down here. So, what kind of person are you? Are you able to give back to your people, to your community, to your friends, to your family, or even just to the earth? Because there's living things all around us, above us and below us. So that's the reason why that hoop dance has really changed my life. And just the idea of the circle, and that circle being not just a shape but really a lifestyle, is really something that I've taken as a blessing, and hopefully I and we and what we're trying to do with the health industry, we hope to give that back as well.
What was the reception?
Well, I have to say that the dance, the first day with the 6,000 nurses, that was my very first standing ovation with that many people.
Wow.
So that was a blessing and an honor.
Yeah.
And then the next day when we gave the presentation, what ended up happening is we had so many calls from a lot of people from across the country who wanted us to come and give the same presentation to their hospitals. And this coming fall, we're going to be giving a presentation at the oncology conference over in Salt Lake City in November. So it turned out really well. And, we wanted to go there and share something, but it became something that it seems to be there's a need.
And who taught it to you? When did you learn it?
I learned hoop dance in 1983 when I was younger. And I learned with the 5 hoops. I learned from a Sisseton Lakota man, and have been doing it ever since. And throughout the years, understanding that I have 2 eyes, 2 ears, and only 1 mouth, I'm supposed to be watching and listening more than I talk, except for on your show. And growing up with many different people from many different tribes, a lot of elders, I've been able to learn different reasons for the hoop dance, different understandings and perspectives and stories, origin stories of where the hoop dance comes from and what it's about. So you wake up, you honor the day with that blessing, and then you go on each day, understanding that reciprocation. So, being here is an honor and a blessing for me to be with you and to share. But the hoop dance really is something that it should be given back. So.
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait to see it, and I bet you can't either. But you also sing, and I asked you to sing a song for us today, and there's different types of songs. There's the powwow songs, there's just the whole variety of songs, and then there's the 49 songs. Explain what those are.
Wow, okay. Well, getting to native music, yeah, there's all kinds of different music. There's different, there's so many different tribes, there's different, types of drums and wind instruments and different instruments that have been introduced by Europeans. But most songs, most music are, ceremonial, or they have a serious meaning. But again, that balance of life. There's the times during the day where everything is serious, and then there's times where we have to learn how to laugh, because laughter actually physically is a very healing thing to do.
That's true.
But a 49 song, there's many different stories about where the 49 comes from. There's one story that says the 49 came from this town where there's a movie on in the theater, and they saw this sign, the marquee that said "In the times of the 49," and they went, they kind of went with that. And there's a belief that there's old 49 songs that kind of originated when 50 men went off to war and only 49 came back, so they had these songs, in memory or in honor of these people and the one who didn't come back. But nowadays, 49 songs are known as kind of wooing songs, songs that are almost like lullabies, but maybe adult lullabies. Some of them that are very beautiful and very poetic, and some of them that can really reflect our times and attitudes. So
some are cute, funny songs.
So yeah, there's all kinds, and some of them are really, really funny, and some of them are pretty nice, and there's all kinds. So.
Well, would you honor us with one?
Okay, but you're not going to show this, are you?
Oh, yes. We'll all close our eyes, but not our ears.
Let's see.
Good job. Aurora Mamea, she came on and she sang a real cute one about the fry bread.
Oh, yeah.
But that's great. So what do you hope to do? What is your ultimate goal with the introducing native healing into the healthcare industry?
I guess essentially the ultimate goal really is to see that people who are in the health industry, and I'll go ahead and just focus on nurses right now, that they understand that they're giving, a really good service to all of us in the hospitals by giving us, their care, their attention, their expertise. And yet, what I really hope, I guess our goal really, is for them to understand that they should take care of themselves as well. Whether that be being a part of a community that embraces them as healers, and they can go ahead and recognize that and go ahead and support that. Or if they're in a larger community or their workplaces, that they can get that kind of support. But really it comes down to yourself, and how can they go ahead and see themselves as being very important. Mm-hmm. Important enough for them not to take care of others only, but for them to take care of themselves. Along with that, we're going to go ahead and work on trying to really hone and craft this and really look and search for the help of others, the support of others, the expertise of others, native, non-native, and bring those together so that when we do go out into these hospitals or to conferences perhaps, that we're able to go ahead and bring that native perspective, but bring the perspective of people that are experiencing these things who aren't native, and to see what we can do in order to help people who are helping us. So I'm native, but there's my native brothers and sisters, my native family who go to hospitals where there may be non-natives helping. Mm-hmm. And for them to go ahead and see that there may be a difference in perspective, that's good, but really to have them helping us in their best way and in their healthiest way is really what I think all of us want when we go and seek health, health care, you know, caring facilities like that, whether they be only hospitals or maybe clinics or maybe even convalescent homes, what have you. We're hoping that the people who are taking care of us are actually taking care of themselves as well, so that it's a healthy balance in that atmosphere, in that arena. They say a long time ago, they say attitudes are contagious. So if I want to have a happy attitude, I may want to be around people who are healthy and happy in that way in their spirit. If I want to get sick, I probably want to hang around sick people. If I want to be around something that's going to give me something that I'm missing, maybe it's that healthy heart, maybe it's a healthy mind, then maybe having people like ourselves or others that are out there doing the same thing, having that available to them so that they know that people can come out and maybe show them ways to go ahead and open their horizons, open their minds, open their perspectives to seeing things that may help them help themselves, so that we can all be in balance together. So the sick aren't being healed by, you know, people who are sick.
Right, right.
That there's a healthy balance there for the healthy to make the sick healthy, and you know, there's a lot of health involved.
That's true. Now, do you find, or did your associate find that the health system is receptive to native healing, as far as maybe even someone, say, bringing sage or something into the hospital to pray for someone? And I mean, what kind of experiences has she had?
I couldn't speak specifically on her behalf in that regard. However, I know that there's many places that are, you know, starting to understand, you know, as a universal people now. You know, 50 years ago, maybe not so much, but nowadays there's a little bit more of a universal openness by a lot of people, not just in this country, but others perhaps, where we can go ahead and embrace the ideas, the ideals, the practices of other people. And if we're not embracing, at least being able to look and go, okay, I can understand that. Whereas before, you know, I think there was a time, maybe in my parents' era, where, you know, that wasn't
strictly by the book.
It's like, that's over there, don't want to see it, let's build a wall so we don't have to, you know, integrate or look at. But I think nowadays there's a lot of openness to understanding, you know, a lot of people wanting to go ahead and help. There's a time about 5 years ago, 10 years ago, where a young man came and was talking to me, and he's, I believe he was a minister or a priest, and he said he goes into hospitals and he talks with people, sometimes in hospice situations, where he's offering something for them, you know, as enlightenment or as prayer or as blessings, so they can maybe feel a little bit better about themselves, or maybe even, you know, have the possibility of being healed by those kind of words, by that kind of spirit. And he said, but when he comes to American Indian people, he didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to say. And he asked me what my opinion was, and I thought, well, I'm not one to really ask, but you know, I'll offer something, some perspective, so that if you are in there with my Native brothers and sisters, at least you have something to go by. But I tried to steer him towards people who are much wiser than me and much more qualified. But I think, to answer your question, yeah, I think there's a lot more of an open mind towards that, but it becomes still the individuals, you know, in these different places, whether it be a region or a specific neighborhood, where people themselves need to go ahead and see that it's okay to see that other people may have ways of healing, whether it be the spirit or physical ailments in the hospitals. As scientists have been finding, there's a lot of different medicines out there all around the world who have all kinds of healing qualities. So if the scientists can do it, maybe the people who are the administrators in hospitals can go ahead and be open to that as well.
Well, that's like in Arizona, the Indian hospital has a sweat lodge out back. You know, and I thought, well, okay, it's, you know, you don't find it in mainstream hospitals, but the Indian hospital had one in the back. Right. You know, and you know, I was just told that they're not allowing sweat lodges in the VA hospitals anymore, and in California, but they still allow them in Arizona, and it's because of, you know, with this whole incident in Arizona. So it's kind of an
well, it's interesting that we may not see it as a healing practice in the medicine world. However, in the spa world, which is also kind of a healing, it actually is a healing arena, a healing practice, a discipline. There's steam rooms and there's saunas, and these things are, some people would take them on as luxury, but then there's other people who say you need to go there because it's going to help you get better. And maybe if that was a daily practice or a weekly practice for some, maybe in the hospitals here in California or in Arizona, it may do wonders that people aren't aware of.
Right. Well, last time I talked to you, you were working on a film. Can you update me on that? What's going on with your film?
Update, yes.
When are we going to have the red carpet?
When you guys rent one for here.
And red carpet.
And we'll make it happen. I'm in the last edit, and it's a full-length feature film. It's called Spotted. We've had the great blessing of having a lot of people help support and be a part of. I'm indebted to a great deal of people, including yourselves here at the studio, in supporting our efforts. But I think it's a great story. You know, with the no-budget route we took, having just friends and family be a part of the filming, camera people, editing people, the actors, you know, the musicians, everything was really a family effort, family and friends effort.
It's a good thing you have a talented family.
Yes, and good thing that they trust me. But we all contributed our time, our efforts, our talents, and it's a film that has a lot to do with the country and the city and academia and tradition and dance, and you know, personal obstacles and relationship obstacles, and I think it really, you know, involves a lot of things. I was hoping to really keep it as one focus, and it really, the essence of the story is, you know, two people who are really like a city mouse, country mouse. Mm-hmm. One's in the city, one's in the country. They're both native. They reunite after 20 years, and you know, where are they, and mm-hmm. you know, what are their values, and how do they kind of challenge each other, and how do they seek, you know, solace within themselves on where they're at. So I believe, let's see, we're in the summer, so I will say at least by this winter, before December, we'll have it done.
So and it'll be this year.
It'll be there, yeah. I mean, it's there. It's sitting there.
I need to get my outfit ready. So.
It's sitting there. Yeah, it's sitting there. And we just have one last edit to do, and then we'll be satisfied. Because as an artist, I'm sure you know, you just have to just stop at some point because you're expecting perfection the whole time. But mm-hmm. I mean, we really did put in a really good effort to put a really good film together with a really good story, with a really good talent, and I think we achieved that with no money. So I think all of us are really proud. I'm very proud of it. So.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. So exciting. Well, and are you still teaching?
I'm teaching in the schools, in elementary schools, and giving presentations, assemblies, performances, as well as giving lecture demonstrations and residencies where I go.
But you don't teach classroom anymore?
I run an after-school daycare program
in
San Mateo, and this past year I taught American Indian dance at St. Mary's College.
You did?
Yes.
Alma mater. Okay.
And then I was invited to go up to Boston and do some performances, and I was able to book a lecture over at Tufts University on American Indian music.
Wow.
So I'm still teaching, so that's why when you said children...
You're always teaching, but I know you were like a classroom teacher before?
Yeah, I was teaching first grade.
Right.
But
those poor kids, they lost you as a teacher. Oh, I bet you were really exciting. But
I see them in daycare, so we run around all over.
I've been keeping our audience waiting for the hoop dance to the very end now. So it's time for the hoop dance. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next week, and Eddie Madril with the hoop dance. Thanks for being here, Eddie.
Thank you.